Hi folks. So yeah, after doing the other video, last one, I was just thinking about that point really, that even with people being so deluded, I've said before, for most people, change is going to be incredibly difficult because it is. It is one of the most hardest things to do for a human being to change direction, to change their path. It is immensely difficult, to say the least. That's why most don't do it, because it is so incredibly difficult. Well, okay, is it possible for God to do it in a quicker scale? Yeah. I've done videos about it before saying, yes, of course, God can do it in a far, far quicker scale. But what that's going to mean, very, very much so, is that if it's done in a much quicker scale, then it means that all that pain you have to go through will be bigger and worse for that time. So therefore, if it's 2 days, 3 days, it will be, oh, yeah, yeah. The pain that people will be in, emotionally and mentally. Yeah. And if it's a whole church, oh my goodness me. Yeah. It might actually be a situation of having to keep all the people in the church for that 2 days. Bring food in and, yeah, just basically keep the people there and in a position where they can receive from each other and from God. Because it would be brutal. But it can be done. Yes, it absolutely can be done. But not by any human being, only by God. God is the only one that can do that. And he's only going to do it with people who he knows can stand it and will be able to go through that. And so in most cases, they won't. But again, it's about people. If people are prepared to face reality, face truth, and go to God and say, sort us out, it can be done. It can be done. But it ain't easy. That's the point. Now, I think it's also a case where there are a lot of ways that it will be done that right now I've not envisaged, but there are ways that it can be done that so far I've not imagined that it can be done that way. But I think there are probably quite a few ways that God can do things, and yeah. Because again, God knows his people. He knows where his people can stand and what they can go through. And so there are different ways for different people, aren't there? And so, but that's the point. You can only get right with God when you understand it's independent, highly independent. It's highly personal. That, we're not this group of people that you sort out the group. No. It's every single person that needs to be done. Every single person that needs to bow down and say to God, sort us out otherwise. But again, it's about them and how they can be sorted out. And God will do different things to different people, what they need. And again, right now, the church doesn't understand that. The church, doesn't do that. They can't. They've been trained to understand that. And again, the way the people are going to be trained will be absolutely by God. And again, God's going to train people based upon what they're able and, to the degree of ministry they're going to be having. But again, he won't be using some dozy college to do it, especially some calls itself a Bible college. The arrogance of that. He won't be going anywhere near those. But again, I'm not sure if that's 100% true, because he might use one or two. Because there might be one or two that might have the attitude that they can be used, but again, it's going to be very limiting, because they're very limited as to what they can do. And again, they just need to understand that the ministry with them is going to be very limited because of that point. But it is an incredibly limiting thing that you can actually do because of all of that. Because of all of that. Because people are individuals, and people have grown in different ways, and they think in different ways. And again, you need to understand all of that when you are dealing with people. You can't deal with people in the way you deal with a company, a business. But in a way, that's where the church has dealt with people. And it doesn't work. But again, that's the point. If people want to be treated like members of the Borg, then that's up to them. But that's not God's way. So, well, the question is, okay, is there hope for those people? That's for some, yes. And that's the point for some. For most, no. No. And the reality is, it is a case that for those that are on background, again, the background is you. So therefore, because the background is you, and you've always been background, it means that you probably always will be. Because, when you, again, even I was thinking it for a second, like ground, and that the seeds are in that ground, and somehow that's not relevant to people. No, it's very relevant to people. You are that ground. You are good ground or you are bad ground because of who you are as a person. And generally speaking, whatever ground you are, you will always be that. You won't change that ground. But it can be changed. Yes, it can. And that's why I said, for most people, it can be changed in the first couple of years, because it's like a garden. If you have a garden and seed has been sown, but it's been sown on thorny ground or stony ground or on a path like this, you can put soil over that. Absolutely. You can have a path like this, but you could put soil over it so that the seed can still root. Yeah. But you can't wait until it's grown and died before you try and put soil on it, because then it won't work. It's dead. In most cases, the people in church, the seed is dead. So once the seed is dead, it can't be made good, because the seed itself is dead. The ground is bad, but the seed died. And so therefore, that's why for most people, the answer is no. So there you go. I wish you well. There is some hope. So, you take care. God bless. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.